chapter 23. So today we just kind of review that from your lecture, and then just summarize all the chapter 23. Okay, and then I hope you should be able to fill out your assignment. So make sure you have assignment 2 that will be due, I believe it's next week, something like that. And also this chapter 23 will be used as materials for your quiz on Wednesday. So we move the quiz on Wednesday instead of today. Okay, so make sure you check the schedule. I just changed a little bit the schedule. It's just moving the quiz number 3 actually, nothing else. Okay? Everything else gonna be the same. Do you have question for this? No? Okay, now we have learned. Okay? We have learned about evolution, right? Now, the first cell, let's say the first living cell. This is first living cell. It's also known as a protobiont. Okay, this is the ancestor cell. So this is the cell that will give all the organism, that will evolve to the organism. From this first living cell or the protobiont, then what is going to be the first organism that evolved? This organism will be the one that do not have nucleus in it. What do you call it? Prokaryote. So it's going to be evolved into prokaryotes. Okay, now you should remember there are 2 types of prokaryotes. What? There are 2 domains for this prokaryote. What is that? Archaea. We're going to put the bacteria first as the more primitive type. Okay, and then the second one will be archaea. This is a little bit modern, based on the evolution. Okay, now from the prokaryote, then there is a theory that mentions about the evolution of eukaryotic cell. Anybody still remember what's the name of the theory that create the eukaryote from 2 or 3 prokaryotes that kind of they perform symbiosis? What do you call that? Endosymbiosis theory, right? Endosymbiosis theory. Okay, so according to this theory, the eukaryote evolved from 2 or 3, maybe more prokaryotes that combine together, that make a symbiosis. Okay, so it's going to be what over here? Eukaryote. Right? So the eukaryotic cell evolved from this prokaryotic cell. Now, the most primitive eukaryotes will be the one is very simple, small. Most of them going to be just like prokaryote over here. So all prokaryote, they are unicellular. What does unicellular mean? One organism only consists of one cell. Now, the first eukaryotes will be also the one that's going to be mostly unicellular, small, simple, even though they already have nucleus and some organelles. Now, what do you call that first type of eukaryote? Most of them are small. They are called the protists. Okay, so protists. Remember, eukaryote, this is the domain, is divided into 4 kingdoms, right? There are 4 kingdoms of eukaryote. The first one is kingdom protista, or the protists. Are you with me? The protist itself consists of 2 groups. Right? So mainly consists of 2 groups. If it is having more plant characteristic, it is called algae. Okay, so see what's the video. Algae. Okay, so algae. Now, what is the characteristic of algae? Why scientists put this organism as an algae? There are two things over there. There are two structures that make this organism considered as an algae. What are the two structures that's important for identifying algae? Cell wall, good job. Cell wall. Cell wall. What else? Chloroplast. Chloroplast. So if this organism have the cell wall, have this chloroplast, then it will be algae. It doesn't matter whether they have flagella or not. Okay? It doesn't matter. Now, because they have chloroplast, and what happened with this organism? Will they be able to produce food by themselves or not? Yes. So therefore, algae is considered as an autotroph. What does autotroph mean? Group of organisms that are able to make their own food. They are also known as producer. Okay, they are producers. Get it? Now, what is the second group of the protists? Anybody? This is plant-like, then the second one is going to be animal-like. What do you call that? Protozoa. Okay, protozoa, animal-like. What is going to be the characteristic? Going to be opposite of that algae. What is that? No cell wall, just like that. What is the second? No chloroplast. Because it does not have chloroplast, this will make the protozoa as the opposite of autotroph. What is the opposite of autotroph? Auto means self, troph means food. They're able to make their own food. What is the opposite of autotroph? Heterotroph. Good job. Heterotroph. Heterotroph. Hetero means others, troph means food. So they have to take food from others. Maybe they eat it, maybe they kill, okay, parasite. They're all heterotroph. Okay, so this is also known as consumers. Okay, so heterotrophs are consumers. You get this one first. Now, from here, what happened? So this is the first eukaryote. It will evolve into the next more complex eukaryote. Okay, for algae, for example, algae have chloroplast, have cell walls. What do you think the algae will evolve into? What is the organism that will have chloroplast, the cell wall? The plant. The touch. I'm sorry.
Some people need to touch it.
Touch it. Can you explain?
Plant.
Plant, okay. Plant. Plant. So algae will evolve. Some algae, especially the green algae, this is the one that will evolve into the plant. Now, what is the characteristic of plant? The same, like an algae. What is that? Cell wall, chloroplast. Cell wall, chloroplast. And it make plant as a autotroph too. Autotroph or producer. Okay? You follow this? Now, the protozoa, because it look like animal, then it will evolve into what group? Animal. Animal. Animals, right? Now, what is the characteristic of animal? No cell wall, no chloroplast. No cell wall, no chloroplast. Therefore, animal will be consumer, heterotroph. So, heterotroph. Now, one more kingdom of the eukaryote that I'm not putting there. What is that? What is the other? You working with that, Steven? Fungi. Where is fungi? Fungi is actually here. Fungi is here. There is a group of protists that have kind of weird characteristic. It has cell wall, but it does not have the chloroplast. So it's over here. We can say over here. There's a group of organisms called the slime mold. What? The slime mold is actually very primitive mold, very primitive fungi, but some scientists consider this is still protist. It's not fungi yet. Therefore, from here, then evolve into the group fungi, intermediate group. Now, what is the characteristic of fungi? You work with fungi still. Do they have cell wall? Yes, actually. Fungi have cell wall. Fungi have cell wall. But it does not have what? No chloroplast. No chloroplast. No chloroplast. You see that one? It's kind of intermediate characters. It will make fungi into autotroph or heterotroph. No chloroplast means heterotroph. They are heterotroph. They cannot make their own food. They have to take it from others. Mostly they take it from dead materials. Okay? So these fungi will be also heterotroph, which is consumer too, but they have different type of consumption. Not just like us eating, but they absorb the molecules from dead, mostly from dead animal or from dead trees. Is that? That's the reason why fungi, they usually mushroom, they live in what? In the dead bark of the tree. That's the way, some people grow mushroom, right? What they do? They put dead wood or tree. Are you with me? So these all the organism that start from this protobiont, bacteria, archaea. Are you with me? Now, anybody still remember, do these prokaryotes have cell wall? Do they have cell wall? Yes, they have cell wall. Do they have chloroplast? No. Most of the bacteria no chloroplast. Some of them have, therefore it can evolve into the algae. Okay? But majority of them no chloroplast. Therefore, most of the prokaryotes also heterotroph. It means they are consumers, but they consume us or consume the other animals by being parasite. So many of them become parasite. Parasite is heterotroph, consumer. Okay? Now, look at this. Cell wall, cell wall, cell wall. Now, what is the difference? We have learned that the cell wall of bacteria made of molecule called what? Anybody still remember? The molecule that make a cell wall of? No, it's called the peptidoglycan. Remember, gram-positive bacteria has a very thick peptidoglycan. That's the composition of the cell wall for this bacteria, peptidoglycan, which is peptide mean protein, glycan mean glucose. This is combination between carbohydrate and protein. You get this one? Now, how about the cell wall over here? Algae. He just said cellulose is made of cellulose. That's a different cell wall. Cellulose, really rigid, difficult to digest. We cannot digest cellulose, but cow able to digest cellulose. They have a special enzyme. How about plant? Plant evolved from algae. Therefore, their cell wall also the same. What is that? Cellulose. Okay? Now, how about fungi? They have a very different type of cell wall. They are very shiny. It's called, I'm going to put here. That's the name of the cell wall of the fungi. Chitin or chitin, whatever you say it, is mostly made of proteins. Okay, cellulose, carbohydrates. Okay. Anybody have questions for this one? If you want to take a picture, or you're gonna have. I hope this video is working. Okay. So I'm gonna kind of put in the canvas later. Okay. So these are the evolution. This is the one that we're gonna learn. We have learned some of them, which is bacteria and archaea, the prokaryotes. Go ahead if you want to take a picture. Alright, I'm going to erase this. I need the place. Now we are talking, we will discuss this. This is chapter 23. Alright, chapter 23. Okay. Protists or kingdom protista. Protists. Okay? So mainly again, protists divided into two main group or two sub-kingdom. If it is having more plant characteristic, it's called algae. Right? If it has more animal characteristic, then it's called the protozoa. Okay? Subkingdom algae. This one is kingdom what? Kingdom. Under that gonna be subkingdom. Alright, so this is also subkingdom. Okay? Now, again, this one has chloroplast and cell wall. In addition of chloroplast is actually organelle that carry pigment. The pigment itself called the chlorophyll, which is green pigment. So basically, algae carry pigment. So they carry pigment, which is color. The main color that they carry is chlorophyll, which is the green. So all algae will have green pigment, chlorophyll. However, some of them will have more, some of them will have less, and some of them will have other pigment color. Are you with me? Because of that, because of their color, algae can be divided into at least 4 phylum or phyla. Okay, so 4 phyla. Based on what? Based on the pigment colorization. The first phylum is called phylum green. All the pigment actually green pigment. What do you call that? What is the name of the phylum it's gonna be? What is green? What is green? What is chloroplast? Green organelle, right? Plus mean organelle. Chloro mean? What is chloro mean? Green. Therefore, this phylum is called chloro. Mean green. Chloro what? Because it's considered as a plant. Plant mean phyta, actually mean plant. So chlorophyta or chlorophyta is kind of green primitive plant. It's not really plant, but it is plant. Considered as a primitive plant. So chlorophyta. What does that mean? They have color green. They will be green if you see them. You with me? Now, what is the second one? Brown algae. Okay, this is green algae, right? Brown algae. What is brown? Phyllopita. So this is green algae, brown algae, red. What is red? Okay, anybody watch the video that I sent to you? Rhodo, okay, Rhodophyta. Red algae. And the last one that we have is called the golden algae, which is kind of brownish yellowish algae. It's called the Chrysophyta. Brown, yellow, kind of gold color algae. Okay, so at least there are more classification, but again I just put 4 of them, right? So you will not confuse. This is the 4 main phylum of the algae. Okay, Chlorophyta, Phyllophyta, Rhodophyta, and Chrysophyta. Okay, now this Chlorophyta, there are some that is unicellular. There are actually some that is colonial. There are some of the green algae, they are actually multicellular. Okay? So what is the characteristic for them? As long as they have chloroplast, the green color, the cell wall, only chloroplast that they have or chlorophyll, then this become a green algae or Chlorophyta. Example of the unicellular is Chlamydomonas. It actually look like this, nucleus, and then this is a chloroplast, and they actually have flagella, 2 flagella. Of course, it has cell wall. Okay. So this is a kind of combination between plant and animal, but because they have chloroplast and cell wall, then scientists put this Chlamydomonas as a algae, especially Chlorophyta, unicellular. Okay, the one that colonial example is Volvox. There is a algae, it's called the Volvox. Its cell is actually look like Chlamydomonas, so it has. And then it has, the so they're gonna be making a colony look like a ball. It's very neat actually if you see under the microscope. We can actually take some sample from maybe lake and then see whether there is a Volvox or not. They are very, very, beautiful under the microscope. It's colonial. And then the last one, that is multicellular. There are some example. The first one is the Chara species. This is actually the one that considered as the ancestor for the plant because they just look like a plant. Okay, they usually look like this with a green color. Sometimes they're clogging the pipe too. In Florida, they have a lot of Chara species. In tropical country, they have a lot of Chara species on the freshwater. This is a freshwater algae. Other example, that the one that live in ocean is called Ulva. Ulva is, you can find it sometime on the beach. They just look like a lettuce, very thin, green color, shiny. So therefore it's called also sea lettuce. the ulva. Again, if you want to go with me in December to Australia, actually I will be going to Australia, and then I will offer this class to you. So it's December 26, we're going to leave at December 26 and going back January 9 or 10. So it's 2 weeks in Australia. So you're going to snorkeling in the Great Barrier, what's the name? Great Barrier. It's a very beautiful place. That's the one that I'm, working right now. Already have the class for that one. And for the Costa Rica, that's already closed. Okay, and I have 20 students in my Costa Rica study. So not all from UPike. So most of them coming from different university. But I have 20 students for Costa Rica. I'm still looking for students that want to go with me to Australia in winter. So you're gonna try. If in this winter over here, Australia is summer. Okay, so you can actually, you run away from the winter season, going to the summer season in Australia. Okay, this is just for your information. So ulva is example of multicellular organism. Now maybe you have question, what is the difference between colonial and multicellular? Colonial, you see the cell over here, if you take one of them, they're still able to grow by itself. That's colonial. They don't really have the system. But if it is multicellular like this, they already have the system. You cannot take one cell from it and then it is growing. No, it will die. Just like our cell, take one cell, it will die. Because we create a system in the multicellular organism. Now, Pyophyta. Most of them multicellular. Most of them multicellular algae. They are very big. Even they created a forest under the water, under the sea. You sometime, again, if you can go with me to Florida, Florida is too close. Australia, you might see this one a lot. Kelp, brown algae. It's really big, long, just like plant. Red algae, many of them also multicellular. Again, if you can go snorkeling with me in Australia, you might see them. Very nice red algae in the coral reef. Beautiful. I saw some of them in Indonesia. I'm doing snorkeling also over there. Beautiful. Beautiful red algae. It's called the Rhodophyta. Okay? And Rhodophyta, many of them, if you like sushi, sushi, anybody like sushi? The cover, what is it called? The wrap, the sushi wrap is actually made of red algae. Also, if you take microbiology class, you will be growing bacteria. The media is called the agar media, is actually also made from red algae. Okay? You can eat that also, the algae, the agar, not the bacteria. Okay? You can, okay? So sometimes cocktail also have agar on it. So agar mostly made of the Rhodophyta, red algae. Yellowish, this is mostly called the diatoms. This is mostly unicellular. Okay. Sometimes they can create a very bluish color in the ocean when they are in million of them. In kind of in the wave during the night. It's called the bioluminescence. They actually produce the shiny bluish color on the ocean. So that's the Chrysophyta. Do you have a question for this classification? No. Okay, we go to this. Protozoa. Yep. 5 more minutes. Oh, you want to take a picture? Okay. Now, protozoa is going to be primitive animal, right? They're going to have mostly the animal characteristic, which is no chloroplast, no cell wall. Okay, I'm going to put here. So, the classification for this protozoa will be based on motility structure. It means that the structure that can be used for movement. So they're able to move, some of them, most of them. Therefore, they are classified based on this structure, motility structure. There are 4 phyla also, all right? 4 phyla. The first phylum is called the Mastigophora, and your book is called Zoomastigophora. Okay? The common name is called flagellates. Flagellates, that's the common name. What does that mean? That organism have flagella to move. So this is, if it is only one, it's called the flagellum. Okay, they have flagellum to move. They can whip the flagellum. Okay, that's the first phylum. The second phylum is called the phylum Coeliophora. The common name is called ciliate. It means that this organism move with ciliates. What is ciliate? It's a hair-like structure that present around these animals' bodies, animal cell. They're mostly unicellular. So this one is called the cilia. So how they move? Now, if you swim, you move this one, right? They just make a stroke. Boom, boom. The whole cilia will make a stroke to move. They usually unicellular and live in water. What is the third one? It's called the phylum. Rhizopoda. It's also known, commonly known as amoeba. Amoeba. How they move? They have a fake foot. Let's say like this. So they create this, just kind of gliding their cell, their body, to move. So this structure is called pseudopod. Pseudopod. Pseudo means fake, pod means foot. A fake foot. They don't really have foot, but they move just like a gliding their cell. Okay? If you snail, how they move? Do snail have foot? They don't, but they move with their body, with their stomach. This one also move with their cell. And the last one, if all of these 3 having motility structure, the last one is a group of protozoa that do not have motility structure. It's called Apicomplexa. Apicomplexa. And this one is just like this. Mostly round, nothing. No motility structure. Okay, now example. Example of this. I'm going to give you example that can cause disease to human. There is an organism that look like this. It's actually, if you see under the microscope, if you get this from someone that have the disease, they have like this. It's very nice. They have look like they're having the what do you call it? The membrane, undulated membrane. It's called the undulated membrane, and the nucleus is over here. They usually live around our red blood cell. So they actually killing our red blood cell. Destroying our red blood cell. This one is called the trypanosoma. Trypanosoma gambiense, which is mostly in the Gambia. What is Gambia? Gambia is in Africa. So they usually causing disease in African people. Therefore, the disease is called the African sleeping sickness. Why sleeping? Because red blood cell carry oxygen. If it is destroyed, you're going to have anemia. Anemia mostly, the symptom is sleepy, lazy, not lazy, get tired easily. Okay, that's example. Coeliophora, example, there is an animal called the sandal animal, Paramecium. This is actually free living, Paramecium. It's very nice. If you see under microscope, it's very nice. Actually, look like a sandal. Therefore, it's called sandal animal. Look like a sandal. Right? So they have special organ over here. It look like a mouth that able to actually out eating smaller protozoa or smaller algae. Amoeba, example is amoeba itself. They're moving with the pseudopod. And Apicomplexa, the famous example over here is Plasmodium. Plasmodium. If it is our red blood cell, if it is infected by Plasmodium, they're gonna live here. This is red blood cell. This is Plasmodium. They're actually destroying our red blood cell. If you see under microscope, the red blood cell will be look like a let's see, like a ring with the eyes of the ring. The eyes of the ring is actually the Plasmodium. So this is indication that these people have the malaria in it. Usually malaria kill people easily. Maybe between 7 days, they will die. It's kill about 2 million people per year. This is annual death because of malaria. And usually it is happening in the tropical country because they need factors to carry this Plasmodium. The factor is mosquito. We don't really have mosquito over here, right? So we are safe so far. But remember, global warming might cause the movement, the migration of mosquito to the subtropical area. We already have some. Sometime in the summer we have some mosquito, right? So just be careful. Okay, I think we're done. Please again watch the video because the video is more complete than that. It has all the name of the organism that we talk, which is really important for your exam number 2 later. If you don't have question, then I'll see you on Wednesday. Don't forget to